Hiya lovelies, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Linz. So as the title suggests, we are going to be doing soda buns today using an air fryer. Now, confession, I have been making soda bread for many years the traditional way, using the oven, you know, that thing we all now use as a storage unit. Yeah, you'll know if you know. But I had many failed attempts over the years, and some that if you've ever tried it will probably be able to sympathise here, some that you probably could have made a house out of because they were just bricks. Now, I have done this recipe now twice using the Ninja Pro Max, which is basically it's exactly the same here as a dual, but it's a single drawer, bigger single drawer. But we're going to be using the dual today. I don't know whether this is a mistake or not, but we shall find out, I suppose. I've tweaked it ever so slightly in a few places just to make it work in sort of like an air fryer environment. First of all, I'm going to bring this down, get your pen and paper ready. And we're going to show you, or I'm going to show you, should I say, the dog's off sunbathing in the window because finally we have some, well, it's gone from like, I don't know if we had spring, but we're in summer at the moment. And there we go. I'm rambling. Come down, we'll have a look. So here I have 200 mils in this jug. Now this is lactose-free milk, but I am sure you could probably use plant-based as well, might work. You might just want to have a look into that. Or if you want, you can use buttermilk. Now I don't tend to buy buttermilk because I don't use it that often. But we are going to start off and I'm going to show you how to make a buttermilk type scenario. So this here is just an apple cider vinegar. It's only a cheap one. I think I got it in Aldi or Lidl. So to 200 mils of whatever milk you're using, you're going to want 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in that. Basically what that does is it just kind of, I'd like to say curdle, but yeah, it does something like that anyway, that adjusts it to make it into sort of like a buttermilk substitute. You can use normal white vinegar as well, but I just find the apple cider vinegar works just that little bit better. So as I don't know whether that's picking up on camera, that is starting to, I'm going to say curdle because that's the only way I know how to say it. Now in this bowl here, I have 150 grams of plain white flour. Then I have 200 grams of wholemeal flour. And I am using one of these, which I think is absolutely amazing. Had to have a brief pause there for a second because the weather's good, people are out walking and the dogs just don't like it. So, as I said, we've 150 grams of plain flour and 200 grams of wholemeal flour. You could add some oats into this as well, it works. In with that, just some plain table salt. We are going to use 1 teaspoon of table salt. Then I have here, now this one is the important one. This is bicarbonate of soda. You don't want to use baking powder for this. It has to be bicarbonate of soda. Hence the name, I suppose, Sodalo. So you're using 1 teaspoon of this. That's going in there. And again, I think I was talking about this. This is called a dough whisk. But it's just so much easier, I find, than a normal whisk. I will link these down in the description if anybody's interested. So we'll check on this now to see how it's doing. You're getting a few bubbles on the top of that. And if you can see on the side of the glass there, it is starting to do what it's supposed to do. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to start pouring that in and mixing it up. See how much easier that is rather than like a whisk or something. Now, I used to just use sort of like the back of a wooden spoon to mix it up, so that's an option too. You don't have to buy one of these fancy whisks. We're going to keep going. And at some point, we're going to need to get the hand in there. It's just to keep it a little bit cleaner to start with. We'll go with it all. If it does turn out a little bit wet, it's going to depend on the humidity in your house as well. So if it does turn out a little bit too wet, we can always add a little bit more plain flour if needed. That's coming together lovely now. So we're going to switch over to the old hands. Now, some people will tell you the trick to a good soda bread is not to over mix it. Not to overwork it, should I say. That's come together lovely. Do have a little bit of water on standby just in case it's a little bit too dry. But I think we're good. So I'm going to take that out and put it down on my mat. Just make sure it's not. Right, we're going to bring it together in a type of a ball situation. Now, excuse me, this is the time now where this would go in if you were doing it all in one go. I am going to experiment with doing a whole loaf in the air fryer because basically I haven't done that yet, but this is the way I would normally get it to. Then it would go into the sort of like the Dutch oven for the traditional version of the oven, shall we say. But now I need this into 4 pieces. So I don't know whether I said that in the beginning, but this recipe should make 4. So you want them in around the same size. Now, they don't have to be perfect because soda bread is soda bread. It kind of does what it wants to do. It's meant to look nice and rustic, which is a great one for me because if you've seen some of my some of my other videos, I am not the best at getting things looking pretty. So don't panic too much if they split a bit. It all adds to the charm. Now we've got tricks, or should we say tips, that we're going to be using to make sure these don't turn into building blocks, shall we say, or stones. So you want them kind of all the same size, as close as you can get. If you want to be really meticulous about it, you could probably get the weighing scales out and stuff, but we don't do that here. We're just an everyday kitchen. So they're looking fairly good. And I need a knife. Right, I'll be back in just a second when I've got the knife. Now, with the knife, you are just going to cut across in them. If you have one of them fancy dough knife things, use that, but I don't. So now you want to go fairly deep with that cross. So we're going in around halfway into the sort of like dough ball, I suppose. I hope you can see that well enough. I must say, I do love making bread. And it's something I miss quite a lot because I don't use the oven very much anymore. And I think I was talking to one of you down in the comments on one video that said they would like to see it done in the oven. So we'll just see. Now into your drawers, I just have a little bit of water here. And what I'm going to do, hold on, the crisper tray is in there. Take that out just to start with. And I am going to add 1, 2 tablespoons into the bottom of them trays. The reason behind this is it's going to create a little bit of steam, not much, just to keep some moisture in those soda bread bowls. So now we are going to lift up our bread. We're going to do it in 2 drawers. As I said, if you have the single drawer one, just do it in 1 drawer. It's easier. Let's clean up. Oh, this will do. We'll work with this. So you can see, because they're not, 4 is not going to fit into them, even though this is the 400 model. Now we are going to go in with the bake setting. You could possibly try using the air fryer setting as well if you'd like. We're going with the bake setting. I'm going to bring that up to 170. Now I will put Fahrenheit up here as I normally do. Using a bit. Now we are bringing this up to 18. Is that right? Yeah, I think that's it. But we need to stop it when it gets to around 12. And then I will show you why. So we're going to sync that to sync. It's one of them days. Right, on bake 170. I don't know what's going on with me at the moment. Match, not sync, and start. Now, as I said, we are coming back when this gets to around 12 minutes, and you'll see why when we come back. So this is coming up to nearly, it's got around 6 minutes left. So what you want to do is you're going to melt some butter, or if you're using sort of like a dairy-free alternative, that should work as well. Coconut oil possibly could work, but it needs to be melted. So that'll do. But when they normally get to around 6 minutes, and we're going to have a look, I'll show you. So look, they're looking fabulous already. But we're going to take some of this melted butter and we're going to slather that, I'm going to say is the right word, over the top. Now, this is to help them not be as rock hard, so to speak. But there's another tip for that we're going to get to as well. So I just want to make sure they're all nicely coated. I suppose it's a bit like basting in a way. So that's straw 1. Back in there. And drawer 2. Oh, this weather's fabulous. I just want to be outside. I know a lot of you maybe don't garden, but if you do, let me know down in the comments, because I know some of you liked my garden videos last year, but we'll see. You can, if you want, turn them over as well, but I don't overly see the point in it. So They're going to go back in there for the remainder of the time, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you some more sort of tips and tricks to keep them from turning into rock buns, basically. This is just finishing its cool down process now, so it should be done any second. Now, normally for things you would use a cooling rack. We're going to be using a normal plate. We're going to take that out. It's down so you can see. Now, these are going to go onto the plate. Oh, they smell delicious. And we are going to take a clean tea towel and pop that over the top. So any sort of like moisture and things like that that might still be, that's not a good angle, is it? That might still be in there, can kind of keep them kind of, I need a better word, but moist, I suppose, so they don't go too hard. So we're going to leave that now for a good half an hour and let them cool. Now, lovelies, these have had enough time to cool down, so we're going to come down and have a look. Yeah, they fab. The smell is amazing. You can adapt this recipe so many different ways, but if we just, I want you to hear, they've got that hollow sound. They're not still crispy on the top, but not too much. They're still warm. We're going to cut one in half. Now, my suggestion for these is to have them with a good stew or a soup. But I just want you to see that they are actually cooked in the middle. Soda bread is naturally dense in its texture and things like that. They're not going to make something you can do like a sandwich loaf with. So that is where I want to really, I need to eat that bit. It's something we really want to work on with a natural loaf type. They're just lovely. They really, really are. But tips for storing these now. Just take, most people have some of these in the house. It's just a standard lunchbox. And you're going to pop them in that with the lid on. And that is going to stop them from turning into solid rocks. Now, as I said, they are a very dense loaf. And they're quite a taste, I think. A lot of people don't actually like it. And it took me a long time to learn to like sort of soda bread. But let me know down in the comments below. I have another recipe coming up for something very, very similar. Let me know down in the comments below. Will you be attempting to have a go at doing these? Maybe you already do. And if so, let us know down in the comments what's what. Lovelies. I am going to go and try and enjoy an hour or so out in the garden. I do hope that wherever you are, you're having a fantastic day. Just remember, just be you. You're all amazing. And I thank you so, so much for tuning in each week, every video. To all my loyal sort of like subscribers, is just blow my mind every day. Take care, lovelies, and I shall see you all on the next one.